Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Mary.
I'm Linda. Welcome to our page, and thank you again for following us and sharing us and being patient with us. We really appreciate it.
Yes, we do. We love all you followers so much, and we're just overwhelmed with all your kindness. We just love it. It just warms our heart, and we really do appreciate all your comments. We just don't have time to answer every one of them individually.
We do, and there's so many people that I wish that I could just call out your name individual. Several of you I've talked to. I do want to mention Cheryl, this sweet lady that has texted me several times, and we're so happy to have you with us, Cheryl, and everyone else. And we'll mention names from time to time. We don't want to slight anyone,
No.
but I meant to mention her last week. So we're going to give you some more information on our mama story, but we have a few things that we want to take care of first. And what we're going to do is each week we're going to answer 5 questions, and we have literally had hundreds of questions, probably more like thousands of questions, but we're going to try to do 5 a week. So
Right. So the first one we'll do today is the peanuts. Someone was wanting to know where we got the peanuts, and we got them in California. And so Linda's going to put up the link.
yes, I'll post the link.
We don't have the link right here, but we're going to post the link where you can buy the peanuts. And another question was the pie weights.
Yes, and this is a very small thing here. I probably got at least a dozen of these. I got these at Bed Bath & Beyond, but you can order them online. This is Miss Anderson's. They're little ceramic balls, and if you cook up a pie shell, like for cream pies, or you pre-cook one, like if you're doing, we do deep dish pies, and I did a lot of those back a few weeks ago, and you have to pre-bake them, and these keep the shell down, where old timers used to prick them with a fork, and we've done that too, but these are so much better. We just put a piece of parchment paper down on top of the pie crust, and then we just fill it with these little pie weights. So that's our pie weights. And then
the tortilla mix that we fix for the fried pies. A lot of you had asked, why do we use a tortilla mix? For years we used regular flour, but it was a different recipe. And I will tell you from lots of experience, when you close them up, you seal those fried pies, but when they're in the oil and the grease, sometimes they would pop open. But this tortilla mix, we fried dozens and dozens and dozens, and very seldom ever does a pie come open. So that's the reason, is that they stay together better during frying.
And it's flour tortilla mix. And,
yes.
You can get it in the Equate brand at Walmart. White Wings is another brand that you can get. We don't have a bag here to show you, but those are the brands, and I'm sure there are other brands too, but that's just what we have. We're here where we're at. Another thing y'all have asked us about is the spatulas, and I'm one of those people that I literally love spatulas and turners, and this is a Wilton spatula. I think you told them last week.
Yeah,
about it.
I was using it last week, and someone had asked.
The peanut butter pie.
Yeah, and it's just, it's one piece.
Yes.
And it's easy to clean, and it's flexible. It's hard enough, but it really scrapes your bows out really good.
I don't know if you can find these in the stores. We don't have a Joann's Fabrics around here. That's where I initially found one, and then I ordered a case of them online. So I know you can order them if you can't find them in one of your local stores.
And mixed nuts and the peanut brittle, somebody had asked if you could use mixed nuts. I wouldn't recommend it because you're cooking them for a long time, and we kind of go by when the peanut starts popping, and I don't think the other nuts might not work so well.
They probably cook at a different rate.
Yeah, and now you can use pecans. We've done pecan peanut brittle, so you can do pecan brittle.
It's just a little bit different cooking technique, because pecans are very, they're not as hearty as peanuts are. For those of you who still don't know, we are sisters. And Pinky Ma was our paternal grandmother. We've been asked this over and over and over. We lived beside him all of our life, Pinky Ma and Pinky Pa. Our oldest brother,
Charles was our oldest brother, and he was the first one to have a grandparent, the first grandson or grandchild. So he couldn't say Pinkston. So he just named them Pinky Ma and Pinky Paw. And that's how that they got their name. And all of our cousins, that's what they call our grandparents, Pinky Ma and Pinky Paw on the Pinkston side. So, and as some people, a lot of people had asked who was the oldest. I am the oldest. Linda's.
I'm gray-headed, but she's the oldest.
And that's another thing somebody asked. We don't color our hair. I have never colored my hair in my life. We don't use coloring on our hair. It's just a natural color. And there's only 17 months apart in us, though. We're very close.
Mary, I was in y'all. Our talking is not scripted, and sometimes we'll come up with something we're not planning to say. But I was in New York City a few years ago. Y'all know we used to travel with our work when we worked for a research company, and I had taken the day off, and a colleague of mine took me over there so I wouldn't have to drive right in downtown. And I went in the store. And this lady kept asking me, "What do you do to your hair?" And she was not from the United States, and I kept saying, "I don't do anything." She said, "But what do you put in it?" And I was laughing so hard because she thought I had put something in my hair to make it that color.
Her hair is a natural silver. Mother's hair was like that. It was just a natural silver.
It brought back that memory. Okay, so now to the business part. Everyone is wanting to know about cookbooks and aprons. So some of you will see this live. Some of you will go back and watch it on replay. So this evening, sometimes this afternoon, this evening, I'm going to open up the inventory on the cookbooks only. We're still filling orders and still catching up. We've sent out 2 batches of orders for all of those who wondered where your cookies and candy are. Our goal is to get that done by Friday.
Cookbooks and aprons. We're opening up the website for that to order those.
So the only thing that's food is open on the website right now is shortbread, and that's allowing us time to get caught up. So I'll add inventory for aprons and also for cookbooks. Now we do not have a picture of the aprons yet; they're in production, but you know what the cookbooks are. Most of you have seen them. So those of you who want to go online and order, I'll try to make a quick comment on our page when you can go on there. It'll be sometimes this evening. If you're going to order by check, if you're paying by check, let me back that up. If you're paying by check, we want you to text this number. It's a new phone line. We've just added this to our Pinky Malls. So text your name, your phone number, and the number of cookbooks and aprons that you want. If you've already sent a check, you don't have to do anything. You're good to go, and you will get your cookbook or cookbooks. But so make sure that you tell us how many you want of cookbooks and how many aprons you want. So the number that you're going to do for this, and I'm asking everyone that has the capability to text.
Yes.
To text, because there are some people that can't text and they can call and leave a message
on this number.
And they don't have to leave their address, right, Mary?
No. If you send in a check, you do not need it, because we will get the check off of either the envelope or your check. So only text. If you cannot text, you just can call the number.
And leave a message,
yeah,
right.
But if you can text, please do so with your name, telephone number.
And how many you want, how many aprons and how many cookbooks you want. I hope this is not confusing, but we're trying to make it easier on Mary's daughters are helping us, and we're trying to make it easier on us so we can concentrate on the videos and the cooking and getting these orders out. So the number that you're going to call it, I'll also post this, is not or text. We prefer you text, but if you can't text, then you can call it and leave a voicemail. It's 903-235-4804. And by the way, Mary, we never set up the voicemail on that. So we'll have to do that later.
It's a new phone.
It's a brand new phone. We just
but
got
when you call, it is us.
So 903-235-4804. Okay, I think
All right.
that's everything.
I think that's all. We'll start with our stories.
And just to make sure that everyone knows, the aprons and the cookbooks, the aprons will be available before the cookbooks, but we will get them turned around as soon as possible. As soon as we get them, we think that's going to be mid-November.
Yeah, the cookbook's mid-November, but the aprons are.
Okay, so now we're going to thank you for bearing with us.
Yes, yes.
We have to laugh at ourselves because
We had got all this together.
I think for our age, which Mary's going to be 74 tomorrow, I think for our age we do pretty good, but sometimes I think I don't do well at all.
She's doing great. She's doing
So
great.
anyway, so now we're going to start back with Mama's story.
All right, Mother's story. We're going to tell about us 4 children. Just a brief, let you kind of get an idea of us 4 children. And the firstborn was Charles, our older brother. He was born in April the 28th, 1945. And while Mother was pregnant with her, he was born at 11:30 p.m. at night. That's when he was born. She craved popcorn, and it was hard to find popcorn then. And she just loved popcorn. So, Daddy found a man that had a field of popcorn. And so, farmer, yeah. And he went and got a huge sack, and it was. She picked berries all day. She went in and she says she thinks she picked about a wash tub full. And if y'all know what a wash tub looks like, it's one of them huge, I think it's called a number 3 tub or something like that.
Big tub.
It's a big tub. And honestly, people back then that didn't have bathrooms, that's what they took baths in.
Yes.
But anyway, she says she picked a wash tub full of berries the day that she went into labor, and she said she had a hard labor with Charles because he weighed 11 pounds.
This is her first baby.
Her first baby. I think I said on that last video that he weighed 10 pounds, but going back and going through her book, she said he weighed 11 pounds.
And keep in mind that Mama weighed 98 pounds when she got
Yeah,
married.
Mother
She
was
was
small.
not a big person.
Yeah.
She was a very small bone person. So
Right.
this was, I can imagine. Did she have a doctor? When, with
Yes,
Charles?
yes. No, yes, she did. He went into town to get the doctor. Let me see here. She said that the Cecil went after Dr. Taylor Mass, who lived in Sharina, and he didn't get in a hurry. She said. She said he was out with other people. Whenever Dad went up there to get him, and. Mother said that Charles was a good baby. That was her first baby, and he was a very good baby. But he was fast on his feet. She said he would run from her, but she said one day she caught him. And she said when she didn't have no more problems with Charles running from her, because she said he was a runner and he could run fast. And people who know Charles, my brother, he is still fast on his feet. You remember when we'd go to town with him, and he'd be way ahead of us.
Well, he walked everywhere.
He walked so fast. I run instead of walk when I was a little bit younger to keep up with my brother. So he was always fast on his feet, and so that is just a little bit of history about Charles. I will tell you that Mother, in her book, she wrote a personal letter to every one of her immediate family, all her kids, all her in-law, their spouses, and then her pastor. She wrote a lot of personal letters that she left to them. We're not going to read the letter that she wrote to us individually. We may read parts of it, but Charles and Edward hasn't seen these, so we're not going to read those. But just little phrases there.
And how old was Charles when she wrote this book?
Charles was 50 years old. And Charles is 75.
He'll be 76 his birthday.
Yeah, he'll be 76 his birthday. And Charles was 50 when Mama wrote this book.
So she wrote this 25 years ago.
Yeah.
She died in 2003, so she's been gone for over 17 years. She wrote this about 8 years before she died.
Yeah. And I will say that Mother, one thing that Mother said about Charles was that he followed in his dad's footsteps concerning trucks and working so very hard. That was a trait that Charles took after our dad. And she said another thing she said about Charles was that he was a stand-by-you guy. And he is. Always. Anybody in the family, I mean, he is there in a minute. Anytime that that you need anything, or he sees that you get it,
Yeah.
or helps you with it.
He'll call you up, and I mean, what do you need? Mary, you was telling me the other day about him giving that.
Oh yeah,
He's always
my
giving.
my son was with my brother. He was working with him because Charles had his own business back when he was younger, and Charles went into a convenience store, and my son was sitting in the truck, and the lady was standing out there and told him that she had a child with her. She said that she needed some money. Could he help her out?
She wanted some food.
Yeah, she wanted some food, and so he pulls out his wallet and gives her $100 bill.
Now, this is years
This
ago.
has been years ago. And so he gets back in the truck, and my son watched this lady. And this lady went over to a liquor store and went in that liquor store with that money. And so my son, it just upset him so bad because he did that, because he felt like she was abusing Charles being so kind. And Charles, when he got in the truck and Chuck told him what that woman done, he said, I can't help what she does with it. Said, if she asks me for help, and that's on her conscience of what she does with it. He said, I did what I felt was my place because she needed something, and what she does with it.
And he was okay with
And he was
it,
okay with it. He said, what she does with it is out of my hands because I done what I felt, what I needed to do. And also, Charles said, Mother told Charles that he needed to slow down. And in all of our
Every
letters that she
letter.
wrote to us, every one of them, she said, you need to slow down and enjoy life and enjoy your family. And because we're all such hard workers, that was one trait that she said left to all of us.
It touches us because
Yeah.
we all know how hard
Right.
all of us work. Both of our brothers are
Right.
retired. Mary's retired. I still work a little bit. A little bit.
Linda works all the time. I've
Mary
tried
does
my
too.
best to get her to stop, and she
But-
won't do it.
But it shows you the pattern that,
Yeah.
and to me that's
just-
other than
that's-
being kind and honest, that's probably one of the best compliments that
Well,
that
our
it
brothers
give us.
retired, and they still work, but they're working, but they're doing something they want to do. It's not for
Right,
pay.
doing something they love.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to Mary, and I could sit here and talk all day about my sister. She has always been a person that, just like Charles and Edward and Mama and Daddy, she would give you anything in the world that she needed. And I'm going to get to her birth, but just a very giving person. So she was born on a Sunday night. I'm going to try my best not to start crying, y'all. She was born on a Sunday night, October 14th in 1946. Tomorrow, you share the same birthday with Pinky Paul.
Yes, I do.
And I think there's some others in our family too, but I know her and Pinky Paul's birthday.
I'm
going to
stop right here and tell you, I have had 500 at least happy birthday wishes. My birthday is tomorrow, and I'm getting so many birthday wishes. It just touches my heart. I want to thank every one of you. I've tried to answer and thank every one of you, but I might have missed one of you, but I thank you so much. I've never had that many birthday wishes. The church, they did an announcement for my birthday and sang birthday to me on Sunday, and I'm celebrating all week. But thank you so much for all your kind comments.
Yes, we appreciate your kindness to my sister. So Mama had a hard labor with Mary all night, but she waited till the school bus left before she sent for her mama. And you were in the Little Red House.
Yes.
That's where you were born.
This is the cover of our cookbook, and that's where I was born.
Yeah, this is the house Mary was born in, and a bunch of our cousins too. And we called it the Little Red House, or Playhouse. Mama
Yeah.
wrote in here Playhouse is what it's called now. So Daddy Cecil made 3 trips to Sharina to get the doctor, and he was out on other calls. And Nacogdoches is a big county, and probably I don't know, they might have had but one doctor in that area. I don't know, but he went there 3 times. Now, this is several miles from down on the farm to Sharina,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
8 or 9 miles, probably.
Yeah.
Which back
Dirt
then,
roads.
which back then was, a good little trek. But Mary didn't wait on the doctor. She was born with just Ma Lee and Mama. So it was just the 2 of them. And the doctor finally got there, and she was born at 9:50 a.m. after she'd been in labor all night, and she weighed 9 pounds and 8 ounces. All Mama's babies were
Yeah,
big.
all of us was good size.
And she said that Mary was a fretful baby. Mama would sit in front of the fireplace and rock her, and she had a head full of dark curly hair. And she said Mary cried a lot, but she was a beautiful baby. I have to laugh about this because I'm glad Mary was born first, because Mama might have been disappointed if I was born first.
Now, that's not true, Linda.
I have to
not
laugh about it because my hair wasn't curly. And it's never been curly.
Wait till I tell you about Linda's story.
Okay, so anyway, she said Mary cried a lot, and Mama said wash days was hard. Having 2 babies, she had pretty much, I guess, 2 babies in diapers,
Yeah.
And
then the last.
and then let's see, on the page that Mama wrote about Mary, and she's got all of our full name on it. She just said, Mary, and you don't care if I read this whole thing,
No, I don't
do you?
care. I don't
Mary,
care.
I love and appreciate you, always have, but as we grow older, our priorities change somewhat. I thank you for being steadfast and living for God, most of all, your married life, these 28 years. Also for being determined, we all have that trait in us, to keep your family together. Thank you for working hard, giving to the Lord's work, and caring for your children, husband, and now grandchildren. Now Mary has great-grandchildren. How many do you have? Is it
I have
9, 10?
I have 8, 9. I have 9
the other
great.
one
I
is
have
10.
six grandkids and 9 great grandkids.
I think it's 10.
No, it's 9 now.
Counting the other one? Okay, it's 9. I'm sorry. I lose count.
They're Linda's too. Every one of them loves her to death.
I claim all of them. I do. And she said, thank you. Well, I already read that. She said, I'll say to you like I did to Charles, it's getting time to slow up. Take some rest. She didn't say slow down. She said slow up. I'm reading from her. And take some rest and enjoy life, accept things you can't change, and thank God for the good things He's already done for you.
Okay. All right, and now Linda. When Linda was born, Mother and Daddy had already bought the place where the property, and it had a house on it too, on Looneyville Road, where we actually grew up.
Yes.
And so she had already bought that, but Mother wanted to fix up the house before they moved into it. And at that time, they were living in a homemade trailer that Dad had built. A homemade trailer, and she said it was a long trailer, and they lived in it, and she said it was so long that she went and built partitions in the trailer. So she built a living room, a kitchen, and a bedroom out of that trailer. And I'll tell you this, Mother, this might have been her first time to do it, make partitions in the home. When we were growing up, if she decided that she wanted to change the bedroom around, or change the hall, or change a door, she'd tear a whole wall down. Didn't she, Linda?
We used to laugh.
She would tear that wall down and rebuild it.
We used to make jokes that we never knew when we come home from school where the door was going to be because Mama changed it so often.
I know. We said one time Daddy was going to walk into a wall. Because she was always she was always redoing the house, and then so Mother, it was it wasn't very long before Mother petitioned it off, and then she would change her walls often and re-wallpaper it. She wallpapered this little homemade trailer that they built, and she said it was a little small flowered print. And she said back then, that's the first time she'd wallpapered, she didn't know that the patterns had to be, matched. And so she said it still looked good because it was a little print, but she learned later during our life, she'd wallpaper almost every summer. And that's our house, our entire house, she'd re-wallpaper. No telling how many layers of wallpaper. I know how to wallpaper from my mama because we have
always doing something in the house.
Every summer she done that. Okay, so the night before Linda was born, they all walked through the woods to church. That was Pinky Ma, Titsy, and Big Earl. Titsy and Big Earl was Daddy's twin sisters.
Yeah.
And the reason their names, Titsy and Big Earl, is because that was their nicknames. That wasn't their real name. Was one of them was smaller than the other one, so they got the nickname Titsy and Big Earl, and that's what all of us cousins
That's what we all
call
name
them
Titsy
today.
and Big Earl.
Is Titsy and Big Earl. So Pinky Ma and Titsy, Big Earl, Charles, and me and Mom, all walked to church through the woods. There was a trail through the woods to the church, and they walked to church that night, and to Sister Minton's church. And imagine she's pregnant. Just
With two babies.
With two babies and pregnant, and her walking to church. But that's how determined my mother was to go to church. So around 2 a.m., she started going into labor after that night we'd been to church. So she went to the doctor and told him that she was pregnant. I mean, that she was going into labor, and the doctor said, no, ma'am, you're not in labor. Just go home. Wait till you get in labor. And it upset Mama so bad. She said, Cecil, pay that doctor, and we're not ever coming back here.
They didn't either.
And they didn't go back to the doctor. So Daddy went right then, found another doctor, which was James
Dr. Taylor.
And went and found him. Mother, and she said she had to walk up some long stairs, and she was in labor, and she knew she was in labor.
It was Nacogdoches Memorial.
Nacogdoches
It used
Memorial.
to have these real high stairs
steps
going in the hospital.
And so when Mama got in the room with Dr. Taylor, he said, I don't even have to check her. Said, I can tell by the look in her face that woman is fixing to have a baby. Just take her to the ER, to the hospital, and I'll be over there. And that was a doctor that we had the rest of our life,
Yes,
and he
Dr.
was
Taylor.
a good doctor.
He was a very good doctor.
And so Linda was born around, 2 a.m. She went to the doctor, and they told her to go home. And not long after she went to the hospital, after this other doctor had said that she wasn't in labor, she was born that night. She was born on a Thursday, May the 13th, 1948, and she weighed 8 pounds and 9 ounces. And Mother said you couldn't deny that she was a Pinkston. Said she looked just like the Pinkstons. And she said by then, Mother said she had a bassinet, a cute little bassinet. So Linda got her to sleep in her little bassinet. Said, and this is the good part, Linda. You always talk about me, how pretty I was when I was born. Mama said Linda was the best baby she had. Said she was easy pleased. As long as you fed her and she kept her dry, she was happy. And Mother said she was so good it even worried her because she didn't have no problems with her at all.
I didn't want to be held. All I needed was just necessity.
Yes,
so
yes.
I was independent from the time I was born.
I'm going to read you what Mother said to her. Linda, I appreciate you because you remain the same. I'm sorry. I admire your persistence getting things done. This describes my sister to a T. I am speaking of your ability to organize, pull together, and make things simple. They seem so hard for me to do, and it's the way it is for me too. She does things, and whenever things I just don't think I can do it, she just gets right in and tells me how to do it, and it always works out. She said, I thank you for being a hard worker, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps many times and pressing forward.
She used to say that a lot, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps.
She said, I thank you for being so generous to all your family by gifts of money and love. And that is so true. My sister, anyone call her and they're in need, nieces, nephews, grandkids, whatever, she has probably helped somebody. If it's nothing but baking a cake, she has done something for everyone in the family. And she says, all these things point to the way you always were, and this is from childhood to now. Independent, leave me alone, I want to be by myself, do my own thing, and just be me. And that describes Linda.
Thank you, Mary. I get a little teary-eyed.
Yeah.
I am a very hard-headed person, and we all have that drive in us, and we all have that independence and determination in us. I think that a lot of times that our parents had it, Mom and Daddy had it, so it's basically was born into us, even though we all have a little bit different personality.
Yeah, we've got a little different traits, all of us have, but some of them are just alike.
Yes, and now I'm going to tell a little bit about Edward. Edward's the baby, And we lived on the house on Looneyville Road when Edward was born. This was the house that our house burnt that we lived in when he was born. I was 18 months old, 18 or 19 months old when Edward was born. And a lot of people say that I do not.
When Edward was born, you was 4, wasn't you?
No.
Okay.
I was born in 48. He was born in 49.
Okay.
I remember, and people say there's no way you can remember at that age. I do remember. I remember when Mama come home from the hospital. So they'd been to West Texas.
Yeah, I remember
and, that fall, and they'd done some field work, and I'm not going to read all this again because Edward hasn't seen this, but she wanted so bad for her baby to be born before Christmas, but he wasn't. He was born on the 30th of December, and so I'm going to skip through here just a little bit. Again, she went to the hospital to have him. Edward and I were born in the hospital. Mary and Charles were born at home, but the nurse told him again, that, she wasn't in labor, and she kept telling him, I'm fixing to have this baby. And finally she told the nurse, she said, I should have just stayed home and had the baby there. And they literally ran down the hall with her, telling her not to breathe, to hold her breath. And they finally got her on the table, and Edward was born. He was born at 6:57 p.m. and he weighed 8 pounds and 6 ounces. And they brought him home in an ambulance.
I thought it was a hearse.
And
it was a big old long black.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine now bringing a woman home from the hospital?
I know.
She did have some surgery after then. She had some work done after then. But I was so proud of that little baby, and she said that Mary and Charles helped her with diapers and everything. But I remember the little tiny baby bracelet on his arm, and I got up on the bed, and I remember all this. I remember the house and the layout, and got up on the bed and was playing with his little bracelet on his arm. So I'm not going to read everything on this, but he was. She said Edward was a really good baby too, and let's see here. This is his story here. So. Edward always told Mama, and I remember after Daddy died, he always told her anything. He always told her that, and this is not in her writing. But I remember when she went to buy a car, she was working at a meat market in Crystal Springs, Mississippi. This is when we went to Mississippi the summer after Daddy died. We just went for the summer, and we wound up staying a few years. But she went to buy a car, and they told Edward, Edward was with her, and they said, there's no way. She's a widow. She's not going to get no car. They're not going to finance no car for her. And Edward said, oh, yes, they will. Edward was a kid. Yeah. Was like 15 years old. Yeah, he said, yeah, she'll get one. And of course, she had paid all the funeral expenses from Daddy's funeral. She didn't have any, leftover delinquencies or debt. And she got that brand new Chevy Bel Air car. She got it. And again, she said that it's important from here on out, telling Edward that you do something for enjoyment, not only for you, but for your children and grandchildren, and so they'll remember that. And I think about how Edward and Debbie, just like Charles and Linnell and Mary, have such a closeness with their grandchildren.
Yes.
And it warms my heart when I go back, and this is something that was written 25 years ago, and they keep those kids, they pick them up, they go see them. I mean, it really does touch me to know that things that Mama wrote 25 years ago, it's so real.
It's so real.
It is.
Well, we're going to stop here from Mother's story and pick up tomorrow. We're going to start telling about when our dad got sick. We're going to start that tomorrow because it's quite a bit that we can tell without reading. We will read Mother's words on some of it, but we can tell that after Daddy got sick. I was in the 7th grade, so
and
anyway,
I was in elementary school, and we realized that that some of you might not want to watch this. It's it's certainly up to you if you don't. It's our story. We lived it. It's never been told. Some of our cousins don't even know all that we're saying, but it's something that we wanted to do before we get to the
point. I want my grandkids to know, because mother she wrote in her book, she said, Mark, when this story is told, you will understand why that I could not tell you when you asked me. Mark was 10 years old.
He's the oldest grandchild.
He's the oldest grandchild. And he asked Mother one day, he said, what happened to Granddad?
Cecil.
But why did he die so young? And my mother couldn't tell him. She said, first of all, I just did not want to tell you. So when this book is out, then you will know why that I didn't want to tell you at that time.
And the kids, the grandkids, which are all grown and got grandkids of their
Yeah,
own,
yeah.
they didn't even know how Daddy died until they were big kids. Big kids.
yeah.
So anyway, we hope that you'll join us again tomorrow. Well, first of all, we're going to be on at 11 in just a few minutes cooking.
Yes.
So thank you all again. We ask each of you to share us with your friends. If y'all like what we do, what we're talking about, what we cook, share us with your friends. What we want to do, our goal is to be uplifting.
Yes, I don't want this story to make anybody feel down or anything. That we are blessed. We are so blessed.
We are.
We're so thankful, and just let people know that it doesn't matter if you've got. Everybody has ups and downs and problems in their family, but you still can be happy, and you still can be blessed.
Yeah, and that's what we want to convey.
Yes.
We want to convey that even though a tragedy in a family's life changes generations to come, and we know that because we live it every day, but it doesn't have to define you, and it doesn't have to keep you from being happy.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to keep you from living your life. It doesn't have to keep you from being functional, and this is due in part, number one, to the Lord helping us through this, and the other is to our mama.
Yes, our mother was a strong lady. Thank you so much. We'll be back on live cooking and at 11 o'clock.
So we'll see you again at 11. Thank you again. We love y'all.
Bye-bye.